Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's nice to see you again. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while because I've been away. And good morning to everybody watching us on Facebook around the globe. So this past week I was in Florida. My husband and I went to visit my friend Kim, one of my best friends in life, and her husband. And we've been spending time together every 6 months. We either meet, one of us will go to the other one's home, or we meet somewhere. And so this week we were in Florida. Always a great time. So my friend Kim and I have been friends for about 25 years. And she and I knew each other way before we were married. When she was in her early 20s, I'm 10 years older, so I was in my early 30s. And we walked through and with each other in times trying to figure out relationships. Who am I in those relationships? What is my truth about relationships? Helping each other through those difficult times, through breakups, through career changes, through, she went to school, put herself through college. Lots of events in our lives in those 30 years. From very dark times to very joyous times, we shared doubts and fears and grief and sadness and a whole lot of joy through this friendship. In 2009, when my father passed away, I got a phone call shortly after I let her know saying, "I'm getting on a plane. I just need you to pick me up at the airport." And she just showed up and was behind the scenes every single day, taking care of those things in the house that need to be done when you got people coming in and out and things happening and people you need to greet and you've got so much going on with your emotions and the logistics. And she was just there, showed up, holding the space for me, having time for me to talk and do whatever it is I needed to do as I started to grieve the loss of my father. When she and her husband were raising 2 teenagers and it really went through some very challenging times, she and I must have talked every day for several months as they weathered a very, very difficult time with their 2 kids. And so I showed up for her and helped her walk through that period of time. And so being with her and spending time with her, we always get a chance to feel that feeling of home with each other, that strength that we get from each other, that ease that we have with each other because we know so much about each other's lives, because we've given the totality of ourselves to each other. So it's always sad for us when the last day of our being together comes up. And so the night before the last day, we're always talking about, okay, we got one more day and let's try to get as much as we can of each other in that 24 hours. And then we start talking about our plans for our trip together in the next 6 months, because it's something that we just hold in our hearts and look forward to really deeply and with much excitement. And so as I was on the plane coming home and thinking about our friendship and our love for each other, that scripture came up about laying down your life for your friends. And so I had to go back to it. It's not like when I'm thinking about scripture, all of a sudden I said, oh, I know that that's John chapter 15 or chapter 13. I don't. What I get is snippets of scripture, and then I go look it up. And then I read it again, and this time I got a new look at what I think Jesus was talking about when he addressed love. And this is in John 15. I am the true vine, and my Father is a vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes to make it bear more fruit. You have already been cleansed by the word that I've spoken to you. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me you can do nothing. Whoever does not abide in me is thrown away like a branch and withers. Such branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish and it will be done for you. My Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for my friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. So I kind of sat with that. And I thought about love. Love is friendship. And I think what my friend Kim and I did, and have done for these 25 years, is lay down our lives for each other. And I know that I once thought that passage was Jesus talking about the future when he was going to die on the cross, laying down his life for humanity. But just as unity translates things metaphysically and looks for the message behind the words, underneath what you see, underneath the physical and the obvious, I think there's room to look at love and friendship in a different way. That maybe it's not about a physical death. I think it is more than that. I think as we love each other and give to each other, that when we show up open and vulnerable, laying down our doubts, our fears, our joys, our grief, our hopes, our dreams, that we do lay down our lives in front of the people we love. Lay it all down. And Jesus says there is no greater love than this. And that he's calling us friends because he gave everything to the disciples that the Father gave him. I think Jesus was saying, I gave you and I am giving you all that I am. All that I am. Everything the Father gave me. Every word. All the love. All the joy. And I want you to have the joy that I have. Isn't that what we want for those we love? That your joy is full and your joy is complete when we take the hand of someone we love and usher them through a difficult time. Isn't that what we want? To lead them through whatever they're going through the fire, through the deep water, through the things that feel like they're going to overtake them, and say, we can take this walk together back to joy. I can be with you. I can lay myself in front of you. You can lay yourself in front of me. And I love you. And I will give you all that I have. All of me in this friendship. And I thought again about Jesus saying in that passage that apart from me you can do nothing. And I thought, that seemed heavy-handed to me in the beginning. And now as I looked at it with new eyes of love and loving, what does Jesus always say he is? I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light. And apart from the way, the truth, and the light, there is nothing. Nothing worth holding. Nothing to help you get through. And can't we also be, for the people we love, the way, the truth, and the light? What I appreciate about all of my deep friendship is that we can tell each other the truth. The truth. Perhaps the truth is that yes, you are still worthy, even though you're in a relationship with someone who has made you feel unworthy. Perhaps the truth is that another day does come, even though it feels like today is untenable, that you're not going to survive it. Perhaps the truth is that in this very dark time, there is still light. Perhaps when someone is not feeling like there is a way, your love and friendship for them is to say, yes, there's a way. And when you can't find it yourself, I'll help you find it. I'll be with you as you struggle to find the light again. Gosh, and I thought about all of that and just let it wash over me. And I thought, that's the kind of love I have in my life. That's the kind of love and friendship I want in my life. As I think of Jesus and affirm that Jesus is way shower and is the truth and the life, that yes, I want that example of friendship and love in my life as principle for me. When my mother was in hospice, my friends showed up, walked away from whatever it is they had to do for several hours here and there and showed up. So perhaps laying down your life means I can step away from what I'm doing right now, whatever's on my plate, because someone I love needs me to show up. That you lay down whatever's before you that seems so important when you woke up. Now there's something more important, and I can lay it down because I love that person. I cherish them. And part of loving and friendship is showing up. There's so much value in just showing up and holding the space for someone we love and giving that segment of your life to them and to yourself as a gift, because it's never just about them. It's never just about them. Because in every moment that I gave to Kim when she was struggling with her teenagers, I also received a gift. And I remember her one day calling and saying, I just want to apologize for taking so much of your time. And I said, there's no apology needed. It's an honor for me to show up like this for you. I've lost nothing and gained everything. She said, but I don't want to bring you down. I said, I haven't been brought down. And so this passage again, when we show up, we become the light, the way, the truth for someone else. Just as Jesus is for us and for his disciples. Showing up. Being the one who walks by someone's side. Last Sunday at Easter, when we were all having communion, we held the space and showed up for every person who came up here and received communion. We all sat and held space for each and every person. And from every single person that came to me after service to talk about what happened in this room, each person felt it deeply. That you showed up for them in a way that was visceral and experiential for them. And that held them in this space before me. And that held me as we stood together in this room. That is being the way, the truth, and the light for someone. That showing up means you may not have to utter a word or get out of your chair and do anything but love and be present. That's what that friendship has been for 25 years. And that's what all love and friendship can be. Whether it lasts for 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, or forever. We are the vine and the branches for each other. These cords of connectedness that give life to us, even and especially when we're not feeling life. Just as God is our life and our spirit and our truth, we are that for each other. I was watching a movie this week with Kim, and it was called The Good Catholic, and it's about this young priest, difficult time when he's kind of feeling pulled away from his passion. And at the end, Danny Glover plays the senior priest in that parish. And he gives a homily at the end where he talks about love. And he says that he never really saw God until he recognized God in the people he loved. And then he realized there was no separation between God and love. That there was no difference. That in loving, he saw God. In deep friendship, he saw and experienced God. And that as he walked through his life trying to see God here and there and everywhere else, where does God show up? And not having an answer, he realized he knew nothing about God until he saw it in the people he loved. And realized there was no difference in the two. That's what I have in that friendship of 20 years, 25 years plus. That's what I think we can all have with each other. That's what I think is happening here. that we are showing up for each other, loving each other in ways that perhaps some of us have not loved before. So to lay down our lives for each other, it certainly has new meaning for me. It's more present, it's more real, it's more everyday. It's not a huge event, I don't think. I think it's in how we show up for each other. Even the people we don't know. We can be the way, the truth, and the light for someone that we just say hello to, who we are entirely present for in a moment. Making deep eye contact and saying, "Good morning." Making somebody feel valued in that moment. In perhaps the only moment that day that they may feel love. You in that moment are their vine. And now they can go and be a branch for someone else or for themselves. For themselves. Friendship is so much more than what Facebook would have us think. So much more. I think it's a deep, abiding love, a giving, a showing up, holding the space, a laying down of our lives fully, absolutely, without question, and without request. Without request. And just as Jesus said, I want my joy to be in you. We can give that to ourselves and to someone else. Every single day of our lives.